What's going on, y'all? My name is DJ EPiK, and this is the What Disability Podcast. And on today's episode, I have one of my closest friends with me today, Miss Nakia Samuel. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Effie?
I'm good. I almost put an S at the end of your name, dog.
You did almost put an S. Everybody puts an S. I don't know who ain't trying to make me multiple people.
I don't know. Listen, but what I want you to do is, we're going to get into all the details of me and your relationship and our dynamic, but what I would love for you to do first is introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you is, let them get familiar with you.
Oh, okay. Well, again, my name is Nakia Samuel, and I am the Renaissance woman. At least it's what I call myself. I call myself the icon because I do multiple things. I am an educator. I am a realtor. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a motivational speaker. And most of all, I'm a child of God.
That part. Listen, you did that better than me because I was just one like Nakia Samuel, the beautiful one. And that's it. She my friend. Leave it alone. But I would love one of the main reasons outside of the fact that you're one of the closest people that I have in my life, we definitely have a unique way of how we started our relationship. And that's what I would love to get into today because you didn't know that I was in a wheelchair.
No, I didn't.
Initially. And because we was just on the phone. And I didn't know about your daughter and the connection that we had with that. So I would love for us to get into that, but I would love for you to kind of just tell us a little bit about the princess herself and let us know so we can get into that.
Okay, so my daughter, Kiana, God rest her soul, she did pass away. But Kiana was born with hydrocephalus. And what that is that's water on the brain. So essentially it made her head large and caused her to ultimately have cerebral palsy due to limited use of her limbs. She passed away about 8 years ago. And she was 11 years old. But that experience of just being her mother and caring for her, it led to me having even more compassion and with, those with disabilities. And it also led me to even become ESD certified in education because, as I said, I am an educator. With caring for her, that also led me to publish a book in her honor. But just overall, just being her mother impacted my life to ways I could never imagine if I did not have her. And that's where I have a soft spot for Ed because he can go into detail.
Mind you, what she's saying to y'all now, I didn't know any of this prior to. So how we initially met, obviously y'all know I'm a graphic designer, and I was designing for a Good Shepherd's funeral home, where she was also helping out and working with them. So I was doing the obituaries, and we was just communication. She would feed me the information for the obituaries, and then I would just simply take the information and design and do my thing. It wasn't until one day me and her was just having a conversation as we usually do about an obituary. And I said, hold on one second. I need to tilt back. My wheelchair is hurting my leg or something, I said. She was like, wait, you in a wheelchair? And I said, yeah. And she was like, really? And then she got quiet. Now that I know now, it was because she got emotional. Because I didn't know that, honestly, I think it was like 2-3 years prior to your daughter just passed. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that me saying that was also like her saying like, oh, I know exactly what you're going through. And when we really got into it and we really started having that conversation and really getting into a moment of like, oh, wait, you can relate to me more than nobody in ways that nobody else could. That's kind of where our friendship started at. And then from there, we really started developing a friendship. Like it was things that I could call Kia about that I can't call nobody else about. That like I could say something like my head rests hurting. My head hurting because of this headrest. And she know exactly what I'm talking about because her daughter went through that same experience. So again, like it's our friendship is definitely built on the fact of someone being disabled in our life, it being my life, and we building from that. And I love and appreciate our friendship because of that. But what I really want you to get into, and what we're going to talk about today on this episode, is how how you didn't allow your daughter's disability and everything that she was going through to be her circumstances, because you didn't treat your daughter any
No,
different
absolutely
outside
not.
of, like, you know what I mean? You treated her as if because she was a regular person to you. Because, and I think that's the thing that, and another reason why I'm building this platform, I want to break that stigma that people have that, oh, because they're in a disability, they have a disability, because they have something going on with them, we have to treat them different. And I would love for you to just kind of go off on that and tell me a little bit about, like, how you treated Kiana when as a daughter. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, every kid has their own little quirks. I mean, and with Kiana had her mother's attitude. She had, and she was nonverbal, but we had our own way of communicating. We developed our own level of communication. So when it came to her being disobedient in school, and she did little things at school, like she would slap her iPad on the floor when she didn't want to be bothered. And so she had her little temper tantrums at school here and there. So because of course I had to modify, the way that I disciplined her, but helping her understand that no, that's no excuse, and we're not going to make an excuse. So what I would do when she knocked her iPad on the floor and she was misbehaving in school, her teacher would write a note. No, because I know her cognitive ability, she couldn't understand at home. But I would go to the school with her the next day and correct her in front of the person that she wronged so that she could put it together. And then she would cooperate for the next month, just like a typical kid. But I learned that just growing with her and working with her, that no, she does not have the cognitive capability of a typical child, but she has typical kid behaviors, and there's correcting and then there's pushing her when it comes to certain things. Just looking at her circumstance, even from something as simple as I said, she was nonverbal, but I gave her the opportunity daily to pick out her own clothes, to decide what she wanted to do, to choose movies, to choose different things, because ultimately she's her own person. She knows what she likes, and she knew what she didn't like, and I respected those things. And that's what we have to understand with people with disabilities, that them being in a wheelchair or them being nonverbal does not mean that they can't think and they can't function. We have to give them opportunity to function in ways that they function best, and give them the opportunity to make their own choices and listen to them, even if they're speaking to you verbally or they're speaking to you in clues and signs.
You said something. You said something about no excuses. There's no excuse for her to have that behavior that she had with throwing her iPad.
No. You respect everyone. I don't care what.
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
I don't care if you can't talk or not. You are not going to go to those people's school and slap the iPad on the floor because you don't want to be bothered. No,
Listen.
You're here to learn, and you're going to do exactly what they expect you to do.
Listen, and then
that's the educator in me, y'all.
And same thing with me. My mama was definitely like, don't treat him any different because of what y'all see. He got a slick mouth just like everybody else. He deserves the same amount of respect that you give the next student. Yep. So don't treat him any different. Don't let him feel aside. Obviously, I couldn't climb up no stairs or nothing like that. I couldn't play like how the other kids played. But it was things that my mom put in me, and my mom and my dad, instilled in me, that let me know that, you know what, you can't play basketball, football, things of that nature. But what you can do is you can work a computer. You're a good communicator. I'm gonna teach you that. My parents taught me that when you're speaking with someone, look them in their eyes when you're talking to them. Don't look down. Speak them in their eyes. Talk with dignity. Talk with pride. Because at the end of the day, that's what I have. I don't have the flexibility to when I get mad or frustrated to slap somebody in their face. Right? I have to literally have a conversation with you and express to you how I feel about a situation. So even in that, like, my mom and my dad instilling in me, and same thing that I see you did with Kiana, is the idea of don't allow your disability to be your disability, because your disability is a mindset. Your disability is a mindset.
And then something that you said about, like, you had to use your voice. and your parents taught you to use your voice. Like when it came to me with Kiana, I taught her to look at people when you're talking to them. And if you agree, smile. If you disagree, then don't smile. You don't have to smile if you disagree. But teaching her that, and then allowing people to understand that that's her social skill. Smiling, eye gaze, those were her social skills. And laughing when she likes something. Cause like even when it came to her school, she was the greeter in the morning, so she would get up and her time out of the classroom, they call her the social butterfly.
Okay.
But she would go to the front desk and she would greet parents, bringing people in, people coming into the office. That was her thing she did every morning, and she did that for 30 minutes every morning. But it allowed her to get those social skills to be able to smile and greet someone else and bring joy to someone else. So that was her superpower.
That's amazing. She was a superhero. You're a little superhero. Listen, so my next question I want to ask you is, because we're talking about Kiana, but I want to touch on you as a parent and the struggles or the battles or the things that you have to go through as a parent dealing with someone with disability. Because I'm only the child of two parents, right? And I just was kind of looking at it from afar, of watching my mom and my dad and seeing how they maneuvered and how they did things. But I obviously didn't have a chance to ask them because they're now deceased. But I want to take this time out to ask you, like, are there any challenges with dealing with a child with a disability? And what was your way of kind of finding a solution to that or dealing with it, if there was any?
I honestly, because she was my only child, my first and my only. And so the experiences of other people I never had. So to me, it was all I knew. So for me, in the moment, it was normal, and I didn't necessarily see the difficulties that I faced. I knew that when we had to go somewhere, okay, I need to make sure and get ready a little bit before, and then put her wheelchair in the car, make sure I have her snacks, make sure I have her suction, make sure I have her food, make sure I have everything that's needed for her, and then load it up and go. For me, it was normal. And then, like, when I want to take her somewhere that we've never been before, doing my research in advance to make sure that there's more than enough to accommodate her, mapping everything out. Like even taking her to Disney, for example. Taking her to Disney, it was, okay, looking at the rides. All right, which rides can I put her wheelchair on? Okay, where are these rides located? Okay, how can I map this out? Okay, I'm going to do this, and this, building a whole itinerary. All of that's something that I do naturally anyway. So for her, it was just an added thing of making sure that my baby was good. But like I said, I didn't realize how difficult it was until after I didn't have to do it anymore.
Because that was your norm.
That was my normal.
Yeah, that was your norm.
It was my norm. I had her when I was 21. So my entire adult life up until then was her.
Yeah.
So that's all I knew.
That's amazing. And it's crazy because, like, I think about my mom and my dad, even with how they dealt with other people interacting with me. They seen how they seen how other people would like look at me and treat me, and they wouldn't even go to the people. They will come to me and they'll let me know, hey, you see how that person just over there just staring at you? See how they treating you different? Go over there and just speak to them. Start a conversation with them, because that's gonna break the ice, and they're gonna be like, oh, ain't nothing with him, ain't nothing wrong with him. He cool, he good, he ain't nothing wrong with him. And then, like, I've from a standpoint of a child, being a child with a disability and dealing with two parents, I didn't realize how different my parents, or how amazing my parents were actually, until they were gone. And I was like, wait, my mom and my dad had to put in a different level of care. They had to think about things ahead of time, so far in advance, that it became second nature to them. Like, oh yeah, we want to go here, but let's make sure they got elevators. Let's see if the elevators work. Let's see if this works. Let's see if these things are able for him to be able to be in the building and be able to function. Because if we can't go and he can't participate the way that he needs to, then we're not going at all. And that was a sacrifice that I've realized that my parents put into place a long time ago, and it became a thing to them where it became second nature. I was like, dang. I only pray and I hope that, like, you know, when I do start my own family and I do have my own kids and that whole situation, that I'm also that much of I'm that cognitive of like, oh, I got to make sure that my kids are straight, because again, right now I got to think about it. 'Cause I don't have a child. I'm free out here, y'all. I'm free. My number's 754. That was my Denzel, if y'all didn't. But anyway.
Extra.
But no, so I really want to make sure that moving forward in my life that I keep that in my mind too, because my parents also had to be very selfless. It required, having a disabled child, it requires you to be selfless.
Yeah.
Because you can't put yourself first really anymore. Because not only you can't teach your child to make sure their room is clean. You have to teach your child to tell you teach you how to talk when the room needs clean. Or if they're uncomfortable, their disabled child can't fix themselves. You have to teach them to communicate, to be like, hey, I'm uncomfortable. Fix me in this position. And that was something that, again, as an adult now that I'm looking back at my childhood, where my parents was like, I'm thinking that all this was normal, but then I look at other, like, quote unquote normal people, typical people, and they don't really understand that like with me, I have to put things in advance, and it's because of the instillment of what my parents put in me that I'm like, okay, it kind of makes me become selfless. And ironic enough, and that's what I want to go at now, is like it brought us into a place of wanting to have ownership, wanting me to not just be the average guy in a wheelchair. It wanted me to start my own business. So when my mama died in 2011, and I graduated college and graduated high school from Dillard High School, home of the Panthers. Go Panthers! You know what I mean?
Tiger.
I'm mad, y'all, because I actually do have on green a little bit too. So it almost looks like I'm supporting them a little bit.
You are. In your soul, you want to be a Tiger, but that's okay. We're gonna let you be a Panther.
It didn't sit right with me, and I'm always sitting. So, but anyway, that joke can't go over. It's cool.
It didn't go over your head. It didn't go over my head. I heard.
It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. But after I graduated high school, I actually started my own DJ company, EPiK Production, which was also the initial start of me getting into the lifestyle of being an entrepreneur. And I know you know that very well because you're an entrepreneur. You carry multiple hats.
Yes.
You're a real estate agent.
Uh-huh.
You're a teacher. You're a motivational speaker. You're a singer.
Come on. Y'all don't look for no album. Don't look for no album. I say get church on Sunday.
Listen. I be on the phone with kids sometimes. She be on her me.
Strong background singer.
Okay.
Choir, strong alto.
But even author. You're an author, and that's kind of where me and our business partnership venture started, because you was writing your book about Kiana. And you was looking for somebody to kind of help you publish it and put it together. And that's when I kind of stepped in, and that's when I realized that I was like, oh, there's something deeper than in our friendship. This is like a God-sent friendship. This isn't like a friendship that oh, I met somebody that can do something for me and I can do something for them, and that's just a even trade. No, it's a real friendship in this, and I read that through that book. And again, I said this in the beginning, I want to say this again, that the gratefulness in my heart for you being in my life and the things that you do for me and the conversations that we have with each other, because, you know, me and you are like, we're two of the same person. You know, we both have a heart of we'll give our last to anybody. But it's the things that I'm able to talk to you about that I'm grateful for, and I thank God every day that you're in here in my life, and you're one of those mother figures, even though we ain't nothing but like 2 years apart.
Hey, I wish it was 2 years. Yeah, what
But
about?
again, I'm a cougar.
Is it about 10? Shoot. Is it 10? No, it's not 10. It's not 10.
You know, yeah.
It's over 10.
Well, that's off camera. We ain't gonna worry about that. But no, I'm grateful for that, and I would love for us to just kind of talk about afterlife of the or post Kiana.
Okay.
And the adjustment that you had to make, because again, like I said, there was a time to where you had to put a person first all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to kind of put yourself first now.
Oh man, that was a big adjustment. Just going from having someone that's my day-to-day, day in and day out. Everything that I did had to revolve around her, making sure she's cared for and so forth. And like I tell people this. I didn't realize until about 2 months after she passed how much sleep I wasn't getting. One night I went to sleep and it's like I ended up sleeping for like 12 hours. And when I woke up, I was so rested because I wasn't sleeping. I hadn't slept good for 11 years. And just going from that to now shifting to focus on myself was hard. It was hard. I still kind of, and even though it's been 8 years, I'm still kind of having to think to make sure that I do for me. This year, my biggest thing was me going places and not sitting in the house, because for a while I felt it was kind of a guilt of, I guess, going and living and doing stuff as opposed to, you know, having to worry about her, having to care for her. But there was a lady I used to work with, and she told me, she said, God told me to tell you that your baby okay and live your life. And you know, people say that to you, but it was something about her saying it to me that gave me a peace to let me do it, because I always, you know, found myself trying to care for someone else or doing for other people because I was so used to doing. And, you know, when you're used to doing for people, it's a fulfillment of you giving of yourself and doing for people because it's what you're used to. That's the way that I showed love to her. And so that was a form of love for me for other people, but everybody's not my baby. People kind of took advantage and misused you giving to them. And so I had to, this year was big on the answer is no, and not giving so much of myself to other people, but to give back to myself. And that was big. And I think this has been one of the brightest years since I've lost her, by learning to give back to myself and do for myself instead of trying to give that to other people, whether it's family, friends, and so forth.
Man, I'm sorry, my bad. That was beautiful, because I'm glad. Because listen, you know, me and you have conversations off the record all the time, and it's just like to hear you say that out loud, to hear you say that you're pouring into yourself, because you're a service to others. You always put in, you're always pouring in to other people. So to finally not hear that people that you're finally allowing, not only are you doing it, you're also allowing people to pour into you as well, and finally giving you those feelings of encouragement.
Yep. They gonna keep playing? Okay.
All right. If my bad, y'all, it was a car riding past, but no, it's I love to hear the fact that you have somebody that you're allowing people to pour into you. And like I said, again, I'm gonna say this my third time, for you pouring into me and allowing me to pour into you. I'm younger than you, but I've come to the conclusion that, one, like, our conversations are very much mature and to the point to where we're able to have a conversation where we're able to receive advice from each other and accept it from each other in a place of like, you know what, you're right. You're accepting of it and you receive it. as opposed to me trying to pull from you and you're just like, okay, all right, now I'm empty again. You know what I mean? So I love that about our friendship, our dynamic. It's beautiful.
One thing I've learned is that, and I guess that's from me interacting with different people and the whole thing of being, heck, at school I interact with 100 different personalities a day.
Yeah.
But I can learn something from anybody that I talk to, anybody that I interact with. Someone can teach me something or give me something that I didn't know. I can learn from anybody. I can learn from a baby. I learned eons from my daughter. Just raising her, and just like, other parents do, but you can learn from anybody. You just have to be open to accepting the information that they're giving you.
Yeah, it's all about opening yourself up and not. And again, it's taking me a minute. I'm not gonna even lie to you. I'm still in that place of figuring out how to receive as opposed to giving. You know what I mean? And then sometimes, people do take advantage. Some people do over accept, if you will.
Yes, amen.
But I'm getting to a place now, and honestly, and I'm standing on it. Get it? Standing on it. I'm standing on the idea of being selfish, and really understanding that in order for me to do for others, and I think you've gotten to this point. In order to do for others, you have to have first been able to do for yourself.
I think that people have made selfishness a negative.
Yeah.
They've made selfishness, it's a stigma of you don't think about anybody else. No, being selfish is making sure you put yourself first. People will have you put yourself into a relationship and make you think, or into situations like friendships, friendships, anything, family, so forth, but they'll put you in a position where you have to continue to pour into it and continue to forgive. And they say, well, let it go. Well, you love them, so, let it, it's okay. No, it's not okay. I shouldn't have to accept, feeling like I'm overgiving just so that you love me. That doesn't make me feel good to overgive.
No.
I have to be able to give back to myself. I'm selfish. I'm selfish. I give what I have.
Yeah.
And if I don't have it to give, I'm not giving it.
And it's crazy, right? Because me being in a wheelchair, me supposed to be the guy that's supposed to be receiving, the guy that's supposed to be the one to, okay, I need help. You know me. I'm the last person to call for help.
Yeah,
I'm the last person to ask.
You'll overcompensate and be like, nah, I don't need it. And then overcompensate because you need so much.
Absolutely.
Instead of allowing people to give, you're trying to give to overcompensate.
And this bit me in the butt a few times.
Oh, yeah.
There's some people in the back that's clapping right now, but don't do that. Don't.
Come on, keep going.
But no, like it's like, I'm really getting to a point to where now I'm, like I said, back to that selfishness and really understanding that in order for me to even continue to pour, and I feel like God has something better for me and bigger for me where I'm going. Like this is just the beginning of this platform, but I feel like where I'm supposed to be and where God sees it, where God has destined for me, I have to kind of be a little selfish in that because I can't keep pouring to others, and if I'm not even taking time out to even
pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely.
You got to refurbish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
you got to fill yourself back up in order to pour into somebody else.
It's hard though. Especially being in the fact that, like I said, I want to break I didn't want to be a part of that stigma of like, oh, he needs help because he's in a wheelchair, or he needs it because I want to be the complete opposite. And not nothing for bragging rights, but more so really just for the simple fact of I really want somebody to say, I can depend on him. And because I know that he's supposed to be depending on others, it makes it even more for me I really appreciate him more because of the fact that he's not looking for me to depend.
But that goes back to, I think that goes back to what Miss Penny and Mr. Ed put into you of making sure that nobody sees just the wheelchair. It's more to it than just you being in a wheelchair. There's so much more to you, and make sure that they see that. So no, I don't necessarily need you. Yeah, I need you to do basic stuff for me, but overall, I'm not dependent on you. And as I said, that goes back to what your parents instilled within you.
Yeah. I think about them often, because I mean, like, I'm to myself, I'm just like, would they if they see me now and they see what I'm doing now, and they see all the things that I'm trying to attain, and all the things that I'm trying to get to, I know they're proud of that, but I know also they're like, but you could have been here if you would have just put yourself first in a lot of situations. And it's like, you know, it's hard to think like that, because I'm in the world.
Because I mean, and I try to speak from the perspective of where I would want to see my daughter be, and the things that you've overcome and how you've overcome your disability just by something like your mom giving you the computer and telling you figure out how to work this, and you taking just that gift from her and now catapulting it into a graphic design business, catapulting it into DJing, catapulting it into this podcast, catapulting it into all of these different things that you're able to do. And you did that from a computer.
Yeah.
Just so, as a parent of a child with a disability, knowing that if I gave my child this and said, figure it out, and you did everything beyond and figured it out to see it, beyond proud. Beyond proud.
Yeah, I know Penny and Ed up there looking down at me. I know they're proud of me. Yeah, I'm blessed to have parents like that. You know what I mean? I'm blessed to have had the experience of parents that have allowed me to become the man that I am, and you know, God also pushing me into the direction of entrepreneurship and wanting to break that stigma of, like I said, being disabled and not supposing to be able to be in on these type of platforms and doing these type of things, but doing them and doing it very well too, not just trying to do it at a minimum level just to say I did it. But honestly, I'm at a point now in my life where I want to do things that mean something. I don't want to just do it just to say I checked it off. I want to do it. I want it to mean something. I want people to talk about it. I want it to touch somebody's spirit. I want it to get into somebody and it affect them and make them a better person as well. So, with that being said, Miss Kiel, I appreciate you. I love you. I'm grateful for you. You mean the world to me. You know what I mean? I know Miss Kiana's looking down on you right now. She's like, oh, look at my mommy. So before we close out, I do want you to look into that camera, your camera, and just give them all your handles. Tell them all what you do one more time. Because at the end of the day, we still got to make some money. Got to get some money out of this. We is homeless. We not homeless, but we want to be homeless. Stay woke. Yeah? So, in that camera right there, just go ahead and tell everybody where your all your social medias and all that good stuff, please.
All right, so Nakia Samuel. Again, I'm Nakia Samuel. My Facebook is Nakia Samuel. My TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of that is Nakia the Icon. Icon is my name spelled backwards, A-I-K-A-N. So it's Nakia, N-A-K-I-A, the Icon, A-I-K-A-N, on all other social media platforms.
Y'all, I did all her logos, and I just found out on today that her name was spelled backwards. That's Icons. She is college educated. That is so amazing.
3 degrees, about to work on the 4th. We'll see how that goes.
Perfect. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all for listening. If y'all have gotten this far, really appreciate y'all. This is the second of many more. I promise you that. This has been the What This Will Be podcast. My name is EPiK. Thank y'all. Love.